Oh, that negates the point I was going to make while we talk Connor McDavid. But let's save it for the pod, fellas. Patrick, how you doing?
Don't waste your bullshit.
I won't.
Then I'm going to start.
Okay, let's
this
do
should be
that.
like the fun little opening, nonsense.
Yeah. Hi, Internet. How's it going, Internet? Is it live yet?
This fucking guy. I mean, it's more live than the Oilers are going to be in the second round. What up?
McD. C. McD.
Hey,
Connor
Internet.
McDavid!
Today, welcome to a wild Friday night edition of Outrage Factory. Today, tonight, I guess, we are joined by sports writer Patrick Johnston for a very sporty episode. Patrick is the sporty spice to Dale's baby spice and my.
I got to take some of this. It's so hot. It's like over 20 degrees in Vancouver, and I'm wearing a scarf.
Patrick, thanks for joining us.
Bonsoir.
How you doing, man?
I'm good.
Okay, so you were telling us a story just as we were getting into this about you were tweeted by someone today.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a bunch of people got it. They appreciated the joke. I tweeted at some point this afternoon using Sam Elliott giving a hat tip. I'm motioning right now for those of us who aren't watching on Facebook. And I said, sometimes you just have to tip your hat to an outstanding use of the medium, which was an oblique reference. And if people weren't paying attention, they'd be like, huh? Well, I got quote tweeted this afternoon, boys.
Quote tweeted.
I will come to who quote tweeted, but I picked up so there was some news this morning. Dr. Bonnie Henry, the provincial health officer, confirming to Richard Zussman that essentially the way things are going, that yes, by the end of the summer there will be at least some fans in the stands, and among the teams that we're happy to talk about this today were your Vancouver Canucks. And I asked them, and they sent a little statement over, and I read the statement carefully from Trent Carroll, the CEO. And in fairness, let's understand, I have been critical of the Canucks of late for a number of reasons, not just their on-ice performance.
All of them valid.
Thank you. And anyway, they sent me their little statement, and I read it carefully, and it basically said, get fucking vaccinated so we can have people back in the building, you numbskulls. So anyway, to be clear, BC's been doing a pretty good job. People have been going and getting their jabs, but we need to get over that hump. We need to get that 75%. First jab, and then we need to get everybody else get their second jab, and let's do it anyway. So I figured that I put that on, I hyped it up. I said, Canucks, say get vaccinated, blah blah blah. I got quote tweeted by the owner, Francesco
Aquilini.
Quote tweeted to me, and
Really?
I've been one of his biggest critics.
My God.
So
You should throw your hat in the ring to be the next GM after they shit can Benning.
That's when you do the thing. So if he has your quote tweet and it shows your name and your username, you go and you change your username to be like Aquilini is a dumb
no, I can't.
shithead or like fire Benning or something. And then it shows he's.
Anyway, it was incredible because he did this like not long after Matt Sakara starts actually talking about like, hey, maybe they're talking to Geoff Courtnall.
Oh, so I saw
it was incredible. No, it was incredible. Like he was just being like, oh, who cares about that? Look at this other thing over here. And by the way, I'm using a guy that's been on me.
Yeah. Oh, so
hat tip
used you as
to the
a
boss.
deflection.
Hat tip to the boss.
All that shit about Geoff Courtnall. That's
what shit?
I've
only been paying attention to the Oilers.
Well, so they're what saying Geoff Courtnall is like, I don't think he's a candidate for GM or anything, but they're talking about bringing him like back into the Canucks fold. And apparently there was a incident back in the 90s where him
late
and 80s. It was like him
Dino
and
Cicerelli,
three other Capitals
Scott
players.
Stevens, and I'm drawing a blank. It was another relatively big name.
There has to be a statute of limitations on milkshake ducking, doesn't there?
Well, this wasn't. They were accused of basically raping a 17-year-old girl in a limousine. Which like there is a literal statute of limitations on that, but like that's something that like you don't want that even. And I had no idea these allegations existed until today when they started talking about Geoff Courtnall having discussions with the Canucks or being a candidate or whatever. And then all this shit came to light. And
for allegations to come out back then, it must have been brutal. Because like people just like hushed everything back then.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people can go look it up. Washington Post. There's a bunch of Washington Post stories from I think it's 89 or 90. Actually, I think the allegations were in the event happened in 89. There was a court case. It got off, and yeah, it's there. It's a thing that exists. So yeah, it's
terrible.
It's terrible. It's as alleged. It's terrible. And it's perhaps another story, where you look at this is why it is difficult for women to report, because they see past incidents like this. And I mean, I do think I would hope the modern context in courts, the court process is better than it was. I think then, it was certainly terrible then.
Yeah.
It's still not great.
No. I think that's what we have to look at is like it started from a baseline of terrible and now it's just a little less terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's still a long way to go, but we have made great strides.
Yeah.
So
but I think the other thing it doesn't even point it out, like in the context of like what's gone on recently with this team, other allegations.
Like with Vertanen.
Yeah.
Has he been charged yet?
No,
no,
but the woman who's made the allegations has filed a civil suit.
Yeah.
The police are investigating. That's all we know. And there's the Canucks, I guess, have hired someone an outside person to.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, because they said they've hired an independent thing. Did that mean like a private investigator, or is it like the cops?
I don't know exactly. I mean, generally there are law firms, for instance, that specialize in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
So it would be someone like that.
I feel like sports teams normally do that just to like, as a cover your ass thing, right? To like say they did their
more. It didn't always used to be the case. It didn't always used to be the case. And there are times when hiring an outside firm can not actually be all that impressive because, like for example, Dale Talon was accused of using some racist language last summer in the bubble, the former GM of the Panthers, and the NHL hired a firm, a labor law firm that's generally considered, it's one of the bigger ones in the US, but also generally considered pro-employer and not pro-worker to do the investigation. And, they said, well, we didn't find anything, but it's not clear to me who they actually talked to. Like, did they just do the bare minimum?
Yeah.
Plus if they're in like a firm out of Florida, there'd be like suspect from the get-go.
Well, this firm was out of Chicago, but like their reputation was
there's a lot of racism in Chicago as well. Maybe not as much
I know what you
as
mean.
Florida,
I get what you mean. But Sorry, I didn't quite understand where you're going with that, but yes, you're right. So we'll see what this goes.
Yeah, and they also they know what side their bread is buttered on, right? Like if that NHL is the one feeding them the business, you don't necessarily want to bite the hand that feeds. You want the goal, I think, in a lot of those situations is to just get the vindication. Like, okay, we did an investigation, and they found. We see that shit play out in the NFL all the time, where like they're like, oh, we investigated, we reinstated this player, and then 6 months down the road, a video comes out, and it's a guy like assaulting multiple women, which is fucking ridiculous. So. Who knows, man?
So
Dale's just gonna pivot right to Connor McDavid because he's so
sports, guys.
He's so horny to talk about Connor McDavid.
Come on, guys. It's the best NH. Like when we were told we were getting a shortened COVID season, we're all like, all right, this probably won't be as good as regular hockey, but it's hockey, so we'll put up with it. And then they announced that it was going to be an all-Canadian division. And you're like, all right, this could be good. And then we got the best single season from a player in 25 years. Although they're only counting – I love stats nowadays because they could just like make them say whatever they want. They're like, this is only the 7th time in NHL history a player's got to 100 points in 53 games or less. And the last time someone did it was Mario Lemieux and Jaromir Jagr.
It's the first time in the modern era.
Yeah,
but
since 95, 96.
I want to make
last time someone
It's
did
a good
it.
stat, though, Dale. Come on.
Oh, yeah.
I want to
It
make
is.
a point.
Puts it in context.
I want to make a point.
Yeah.
You know how Barry Bonds did the home accomplish the home run record?
Are you saying Connor McDavid is juicing?
I'm saying Connor McDavid needs an asterisk next to this accomplishment because playing the Canucks 10 times in a season is basically a performance enhancing drug. Like
on paper, the Canucks have the two of the best goalies in the league, like Demko, the hot young phenom who like lit it up last year, and then Holtby, who's been like top 10 goalie for what, 10 years or however old he is. Like on
he used
paper,
to be good.
wow,
He used to be
except
good.
for what Benning let walk with Toffoli, Tanev.
Toffoli? Like
Dale's just we let him mispronounce a hockey player. It's
How do you
it's his
say it?
brand.
Toffoli? Sorry.
I never
Reuter.
He was only there for 10 games.
He only ever
I didn't
reads
get
them.
time to memorize
Dale
it.
DeReader is what I'm going to call him.
Dale
Don't care. Say my name however you want. I don't even say my name the proper way you're supposed to say it.
Does he call you
Like-
Derek Ballin?
Ballin.
Well, people just
He
traditionally
wishes
call
I
me
called
that.
him Ballin.
And I was gonna like my whole thing was like, yeah, Connor McDavid accomplished this shit in the softest baby shit division in the league. But then Pat came on before we started recording and started talking about all the great goalies in the North Division, which I don't know. Do you think Connor McDavid achieves this pace of scoring in like a regular NHL season?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, no, because I've got all the split stats in front of me and it has like, it's nuts. Like if you go to ESPN.
Does it have what
NHL
he
player
accomplished
splits.
against specific?
Oh, yeah.
Against
It
teams?
has-
Oh,
there.
okay.
So against Vancouver, he got 8 goals and 13 assists in 9 games for 21
21
points.
points in 9 games. Like,
And
come
he
on.
had his best production with 1 day of rest. It has that. It has how much points he had after how much days of rest. So 1 day of rest, he played 35 games, 17 goals, 50 assists. So like everybody was worried about how this compressed schedule might be hurting players. Looks like C. McD flourished. And that's with 21.52 average ice minutes. Is that how you say it? It says TOI, so time on ice,
Time on
right?
ice.
Okay.
You're giving
So
Pat an
21.52
aneurysm.
time on ice. I'm going to edit that out.
Minutes.
I'm going to just chop this whole thing up. Get rid of the Toffoli thing. Toffoli? What did I say that was wrong?
You said Toffoli.
Toffoli.
Is this
You
Toffoli?
still got it wrong. There you
Like
go.
toffee.
It's Toffoli. Wait,
Yeah.
what? Is he Italian?
Ice minutes.
No, I mean maybe.
Guys, it's 9 o'clock. Dude, it even has how many points he scored in which building.
Okay.
Yeah.
Canucks is Rogers Arena, right?
Dale just discovered stats.
Dude,
I was curious about the splits in against northern teams. So can you tell me, looking at that right
That's
now?
all he's playing is Northern teams. There.
yeah, this is only for this year.
So did he get the most production? Like, if you had to rank them, who did he get the most production against?
Oh.
Was it the Canucks?
Ottawa and the Canucks.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But he
come
got-
on, like
He got more assists in Ottawa and more goals against the Canucks. But
Yeah, you know what? Derek's point is not atrocious, but
it's not.
I still
Yes.
think he scores a ton. I don't think. I mean, he might not get 153, but he was
Yeah.
playing at such an otherworldly level
mhm.
that I think
And-
he's gonna blow our
Like,
brains. Like
they were saying
amazing.
somebody was, I don't have the exact number, but they're comparing it to the 96, 95 era. And they figured out the average goals per game then and now. And the average goals per game across the board is lower now.
oh yeah,
So
100.
it's like his stats would be
100%.
even higher back then. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, Pat.
No, I was listening.
Yeah. Okay. No,
I didn't mean to
know.
cut your listening off.
No, I thought I cut you off right there, but yeah, like it's nuts. I'm a very happy Oilers fan. Plus, it's like You get rid of Connor McDavid, Draisaitl's second in league scoring. Like that's even more nuts. And then Barry's the highest in league defense scoring.
Well, yeah, but it's like back in the 80s, you had like leading score was Wayne Gretzky, and then get 5 to 10 were the rest of the Edmonton
Talk
Oilers
slow to me, baby.
just like
Back 80s Oilers. Yeah, let me get comfortable.
It was like
this is sexy talk to me.
Oh, Wayne Gretzky bounced 20 goals off of you a year, and so you ended up in the scoring leader because of that.
Okay, counterpoint: Anson Carter between the Sedins. You're not
exact same thing.
He was on the wing.
Still.
Oh.
I mean, he was probably between them a lot.
In my mind, it's
when
in
they
the
were doing
Oreo
the cycle,
sandwich.
he was in the middle.
Yeah.
Just stood there.
Yeah.
Stick on the ice.
Yeah. That's basically all you have to do.
Yeah, pretty much.
And that's all I want them to do. Oh, dude. And like the level of passing between Draisaitl and McDavid this season, it's been like almost Sedin level. Like the drop passes and stuff and the no looks. Like it'll never be Sedin level passing. Like I feel like that's the best passing we'll ever see.
Probably. Why are we talking about the Sedins?
Because
I thought you wanted to talk about Connor McDavid.
I miss the Sedins.
I mean, I appreciate that we're talking about Canucks that were good.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
It's a nice time for that. Nice time to look back and reminisce.
Yes, Pettersson, he was pretty good.
Yeah, he was good like the half the season he played this year. What do you think? Oh, here's a question I'm wondering. Just now that I have you on this podcast and you have to answer all my stupid questions.
How do you think Toffoli is pronounced?
Is that a gum?
For Pettersson, are we worried that he's going to be injury prone for his whole career?
No.
Okay. What's he broken right now? His wrist?
We're not sure. We think he broke or damaged something in his wrist.
I mean, he's built like a delicate baby bird. I personally, I am as well.
Derek,
that's why I'm not playing professional hockey.
Yeah, there's a reason they call him the alien. It's not just because his skills are otherworldly. It's because he also looks exactly like one of the Greys.
No, he does. But he's a big tall. No, he's a big guy. He's bigger than people realize.
Yeah.
The whole he was light. Yeah, he was light as a teenager. Most teenagers are. Newsflash.
Light as teenagers, yes. The ones that aren't become football players. Yeah, I am. Although I'm working on my dad bod.
I don't even want to hear about him.
I put on
It's fine, Derek. I'm the opposite, and it's not all it's cracked up to be. It's better to be light than heavy.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, talk to me if there's a hurricane and I float away to the land of Oz and you stay firmly rooted in place.
Can we skip ahead and can you explain to me what Cheugy means?
Cheugy? It's okay.
Oh,
here's a good one.
Pronounce the words now. That's right.
I had to look it up. It's actually pronounced Chew, Chew, Giee. So Cheugy originated in 2013 in some fucking Beverly Hills high school, and it was like somebody was trying to comment on someone's style and they like got stuck for a word. They're like, you're so Cheugy. And what it means, it's like people who are trying to look like, I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. It's like when someone's trying to like be like, I'm an authentic me person, this is my authentic style, and it's kind of like something that's outdated. And in 2013, it started with like people who are wearing like Chucks and round glasses. So it's like when you like get style from the past and you think it makes you like individualistic, but it doesn't, because it was kind of like not the coolest. And Chucks are the best example of this, because everybody who wears Chucks, they're like, I'm a person who wears Chucks. That means I'm my own person. And that's like, well, those
everyone
are
else
super trendy,
yeah,
and they were never like super popular to begin with. So that's like
10,000 other suburban dads who grew up listening to punk rock still wear Chucks. So you are actually Cheugy, buddy.
And the most ironic thing is, since Cheugy originated in 2013, all these people who are using Cheugy now are actually Cheugy for using it.
Meta.
Boom.
I love it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
just got interneted.
People, basically people who just like don't have their own style and just like follow trends poorly.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess. Which is probably everyone to some
I
extent.
think that's
Like,
most people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, now I know. Thank you.
now you know. You learn.
Like,
Work it into your
yeah.
next column.
Yeah. Oh,
Canucks are looking chuggy.
call
Is this
call
column
the
Cheugy?
call the Canucks Cheugy. Jim Benning, with his insisting on keeping these guys like Eriksson and Beagle around, is
His
Cheugy.
pursuit of big defensemen is Cheugy.
He loves them.
He had one, but he lost them.
But he wasn't very good.
Tramkin? I thought he was a generational talent.
No, that's just what Canucks fans say about every prospect in the
that's
system.
Connor McDavid.
Because
Connor McDavid is a generational talent.
We need to believe in something.
Yeah,
we need
believe in Connor McDavid.
So
guys,
it's like
there's plenty of room on the bandwagon. You can just come over for the playoffs. You could go back. I won't tell anybody.
I can't do
it. They're Canada's team. You want to cheer for the Leafs?
No,
Have you met a Leafs
No,
fan?
I'm cheering for the Canes.
Besides Marty?
The Habs are Canada's team.
Yeah.
No.
The Hurricanes. The Hurricanes are Canada's team.
No, they're not.
So I'm cheering for. Or the Avs.
Would people in Alberta? Actually, here was a question. My next question: would people in Salmon Arm put gas in bags?
No.
Would people in Alberta? Would Edmonton Oilers fans put gas?
Oh, 100p. Good segue, Pat.
Earth-shattering news right now. Those pictures of people putting gas in bags were from 2019.
Yeah, I was
in Mexico. They got Snopes.
Okay. I was going to debunk it for you.
BS.
Not,
that's disappointing.
Yeah,
I know. But all the pictures of people
it's pleasing, but it's disappointing.
Filling up barrels and jerry cans were real. It's just these.
But people are always filling up jerry cans. That's not interesting.
Yeah,
but not
people,
to this point. Like they're filling up water tanks and stuff.
Do you want to do some context while I go and just grab myself a beverage really quick?
Yeah, the bathroom again?
No. I'm reverse bathrooming in that I'm getting more liquid to put in my body. I call that reverse peeing.
Pat, do you know anything about the hack that happened? Because what happened was a pipeline got hacked.
And like half the gas on the East Coast disappeared.
Yeah, I can't remember what data got hacked, but it's like as of today, the pipeline is operational again. So I think it got hacked on
Monday or Tuesday or something.
Yeah, Monday or Tuesday, and it was only like 3 states or something on the East Coast because one of the things, and then what happened was people heard that the gas wasn't flowing. They all freaked out.
Wait. Did you tell the best part of the story?
No.
Okay, I don't know if this is a liar, but the pipeline was hacked.
Yeah.
Did you tell that part of the story?
Yeah.
There was ransomware. The reason it was hacked, it was a phishing attempt. I saw this posted on Twitter. I don't know if this is authentic or not, but one of the employees
doesn't have to be as long
of
as
this
it's
pipeline in Kansas City
got
an email that said, check out these cans city. And it was a picture of a girl's boobs.
Nice.
And it directed him to a website to log in. And he entered his like email and password. And that was how they got access to the system. And yeah, it was I got to see if I can find the tweet and I'll share it with you guys. But it's honestly the funniest shit I've ever heard.
If I were that guy's boss, I would be outraged.
I mean, if we can get him.
I don't want to like be that guy who says if anybody is going to click on a phishing boob scam, it's a guy from Kansas City who works on a pipeline.
So I love the pun, but the other thing is that like
incredible.
We're always like
again, please.
What's that?
Can you say the pun again? I just want to hear the pun.
Check out these cans as city. Or get a look at these cans. I don't know what they were. But like we're always like, oh, like, you know, cyber attacks are evil and there's all these evil actors and like it's going to be the downfall of America and like there's all this like important infrastructure wired to the internet. And the problem isn't necessarily like the data or how it's wired or how the networks are set up. Like it's not like someone's going to brute force their way in. It's that people are morons. Like, and you have dumb people working at every level of the US government. You have dumb people working in every company on the planet. And these people are susceptible to dumb shit like that. Like, I was
going to say, this is like, remember when they were like, like you have all these conspiracies and they're like, we can't tell the populace that aliens exist because they would panic. And everybody's like, oh, you could tell us. We're not going to panic. Tell us if there's aliens. And then somebody hacks a pipeline, and even places that aren't affected are lining up for 2 hours to get gas because they think it's going to run out. So it's like, it's pretty obvious that we're just all going to fucking panic if anything happens. So they can't tell us about aliens. Oh, do you want to hear my conspiracy about this hack?
Yeah, it's time for Dale's conspiracy of the week, everyone.
Yeah. So,
by the
Can
way,
you do that again? Because that was really fun to watch.
I don't know what we did.
Yeah, no, I wanted Dale to do that again.
Yeah, hiya! It's
Dale.
like I have a big conspiracy fish.
Update on Dale's conspiracy of the week from last week. It turns out that the Gates divorce does have something to do with the Jeffrey Epstein. I've seen this in like reputable news sources. They're saying that Melinda Gates had problems with Epstein and Bill's relationship going back like many, many, many years, and that was actually a major factor in their decision to get divorced. So Dale,
what makes you feel dirtier? The fact that Bill Gates was friends with Epstein and went to his island, or that I was right?
That you were right? Yeah, that second one for sure.
I'm outraged by both aspects of this.
Oh, it feels so good. It's almost as good as Connor McDavid just schooling everybody.
All right,
No,
fuck.
it's the opposite.
It's Dale's week. Dale,
Okay.
What's your conspiracy this week?
So my conspiracy on this was I didn't have a conspiracy till I was reading this article, and it was like boring, scam, boring, like hack and all this stuff. And then like near the end of the article I was reading, there was this nugget, and they were like, we have the gas, we just can't get it to the people that need it. So we're going to temporarily allow reshipping from one port in the US to another port in the US by non-United States shipping companies. So it's like, oh, it's obviously Russia hacked it just so they could get their ships in to get in on that sweet shipping cheddar. Because the way it works now is other companies can only go to the USA and drop stuff off. And then if it has to go from that port anywhere else, it has to be done by a US company. So they're going to temporarily waive that. So say some Russian company. I was trying to think of a Russian name, but I don't know one that isn't problematic. Or even if I said something, I don't know. You know what I mean? So like a Russian company could run from like New Jersey to Florida or something like that. And that's the conspiracy, was that it was the Russians.
I'll buy it. I liked it. I'm on board with Dale today.
That was before Derek told me the old pervert clicking on the boobies, which is way more probable.
I mean, yeah.
It still could have been Russians sent the phishing scam to the old pervert.
Yeah, I think they definitely established that it was Russians. I think they're just trying to figure out if
what their motive was.
It was they're trying to figure out, like, it originated in Russia, but they're saying, like, was it the Russian government or was it just like bad actors from within Russia?
Yeah, them asking for ruples as payment was probably a big tip off.
That's always dead giveaway.
Ruples for your gas
and vodka. Those Russians. Hey, what other stereotypes?
Crazy Russians.
Wait, what are you drinking there, Derek? I can't tell. What is that?
This is a underground kombucha.
Your kombucha.
Brewed in Vernon, BC. This is hip hops. It is rose hips and brewer's hops. It's
another good pun.
Clever name. But yeah, great pun. Very delicious beverage.
Is there any good kombucha in Salmon Arm?
No. No, maybe. I don't know. I'm
just
sorry.
Accidentally rancid tea that somebody left.
Well, yeah, like it just like fermented on its own.
Yeah,
left in a jar.
Yeah,
somebody had it in their they had it in their like hiking water bottle and like forgot
just left it in there.
Left it in the trunk and
hummingbird feeder. Tennille just linked us something in the comments.
It's like I guess so Tennille, biggest fan now that Sam disappeared, but she wanted us to talk about the town, and Patrick, you'll like this that you keep bringing up how terrible our hometowns are. Enderby.
I don't say anything mean about
Patrick,
Salmon
are you familiar with Enderby?
Arm.
Have you been to Enderby?
So
I've heard of it.
Enderby is a farming community outside of Salmon Arm, and it's the town that people in Salmon Arm make fun of. So it's like, you know, you can imagine where they are on the totem pole of BC community.
That sounds really just mean.
Yeah.
It's full of very good people.
It's Dale's hometown.
Where I came from, and my little brother still lives
Real
there.
salt of the earth.
He's a dairy farmer because there's not much else to do there. But so Tadeo was talking about this bar in Enderby installed as their beer taps. That's like a mannequin. I mean, if you're on Facebook, you could go look at the chat. She posted a picture. It's a mannequin, and out of the boobs are the taps for the beer. So if you pull beer, you gotta pull on things sticking out of the boobies. It's pretty great. I mean, it's hilarious.
I'm gonna say like that is on brand for Enderby. In Enderby, that it makes sense. I don't think it would
make
fly
sense in any bar.
I don't think it would fly in a progressive city like Vancouver, but in a backwater, one might say, less socially advanced community such as Enderby.
That's a weird way of saying not taking themselves too seriously as a whole entire city.
Sorry, Enderby's a city?
No.
Yeah, actually, there's a funny story.
Enderby is a collection of barns.
So Enderby is a city because when the Queen went through on her visit in like the 60s or something, they're driving through and she's like, oh, this is a nice city. And they didn't want to correct the Queen. So they renamed the little town of Enderby a city.
Well, Tennille, I have the comments up now too. Tennille just said that.
It is a city.
Is
Is that true, Dale?
That's the story I was told when I was in grade 5, and I never fact checked it whatsoever.
Why is Enderby a city? Maybe Justin McElroy is watching and he'll explain to us.
He would know. If anyone was going to know, it would be that guy.
Can we quickly discuss Salmon Arm's terrible new flag?
The flag? Yeah, it's awful.
There's a new flag?
It's not even a Oh, dude. Justin's been all over this. Yeah, Salmon Arm's got a new flag. It's atrocious. It just says Salmon Arm.
And then some like stupid.
I'm Googling
and the font's not even cool.
And
it's like an old shitty font.
Is that the one that Justin described as a car dealership? He said, this is a car dealership. This is
What? Yeah.
Do you see it?
Yeah, it's Oilers colors almost. It's Islanders colors, which is weird. It's like orange and teal, and it just says Salmon Arm, and that looks like the Samsung font. Like it's not even Helvetica. They didn't get the memo. So it says Salmon Arm. Salmon is orange. Arm is green. Oh, I get it. It's supposed to look like a salmon, like the orange and green, like a coho. Is that the one? When they're spawning.
Oh, yeah.
And it says,
I get that
small
part.
city, big ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the society we've built when everybody's offended, but you can't have fucking boob taps in a bar anymore, and you can't have a flag that has more than words on it.
I mean, so people, if you follow the thread on Twitter, so many people weighed in with their versions of like, you know, there were swole salmons with like jacked arms. There's so many options when your name is Salmon Arm. There's not so many options. Your options are salmon and arms. Mm-hmm. But still, think of a way to combine those two in a more unique and flashy way than just like having words. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like the value brand. Like they don't. Yeah.
Justin described it as, he said, "It's my sad duty to inform you that Salmon Arm has wasted an opportunity to design a new flag. Writing words on a white blanket is not a flag. Salmon Arm's previous flag was among the worst in British Columbia."
Is Justin from Salmon Arm?
No, he just ranks flags. No, here's what he said. He called it, and when he did his ranking, he did a ranking 3 years ago of city flags. And the previous one, which was like a kind of cursive script Salmon Arm in like a curve.
Dale, you remember that one? That would have been the one we
underneath like an oval with a rising sun and I guess some mountains.
Yeah, that one's awesome.
And the lake.
That
he
one
goes,
looks
"No,
like a
no."
retirement community
Yeah.
He says,
instead of a car
this
dealership.
is a logo for a car company, not a flag for a city. The A and the M in arm are very aggressive.
They are. They both have. They've got legs.
So that's my bonus outrage of the week. That your hometown
There you go.
Yeah.
ferocious, a ferocious flag.
I mean, it's always just nice to see Salmon Arm getting attention for anything, even if it is a dog shit flag and just
Yeah. I
Dale,
mean,
you're a designer. You're a creative guy. Can't you draw
yeah,
them
it's
something
atrocious.
new? Can't you draw them something new for free? Just send it over. Say, guys, use this instead.
use this. Give them Salmon Arm in the style of Outrage Factory illustration.
Although they might reject you since you're, a guy who left and moved to the big city. And like,
Yeah. I would not go with a white background for starters.
It's hard to clean. It's hard to wash, for instance.
That's
yeah,
true.
that flag's gonna get so dirty.
And it just ages so fast.
It's gonna look yellow before they know it. Or faded.
I would probably make something uglier because I would just do like day glow neon colors because that's all Salmon Arm reminds me of is like bad 90s trends.
Oh, because you lived there in the 90s?
There in the 90s, yeah. And all my nostalgia is based on like techno music, stuff like that, and Jinko jeans. Just fly Jinko jeans on
a giant pair of Jinkos. Yeah, do it.
Derek, would we describe the color of your shirt as salmon?
Yeah, that's it. This is a salmon-ish shirt.
There's your starter. The flag should be that color.
Salmon arm.
Oh, that's a good idea,
Right?
Patrick. It should be salmon colored.
Right? And you could always do the arm emoji. A lot of people did that.
Yeah.
Just a big, like the flex emoji
Maybe get a bigger arm
on a
Derek's,
salmon-colored flag.
Maybe get an actual farmer who's got a big arm.
I'm Pedersen sized. I'm good. I could play professional hockey for the Vancouver Canucks.
Dale's got the tattoos. He looks rugged.
Yeah. Tough guy arms. You could go, I would say just use like Mount Ida or something, like the silhouette line of Mount Ida, like kind of like what Chilliwack has where they have the mountains.
Now
Mount
I'm
Ida's
curious.
just
Chilliwack flag. Let's go. No, Dale. This
what?
It looks like a Kelly O'Brien's restaurant. Copy
That's what they should do. That was all Salmon Arm was known for the longest time.
I didn't know
O'Brien's.
Chilliwack had such a robust Irish community.
Dude, the funniest thing was Vancouver made a new flag and they basically copied Chilliwack's flag. That was like last year, I think.
Dale, I have bad news about your story about Enderby and the Queen.
Yeah.
It's been incorporated as a city since 1905.
And why?
The Queen Elizabeth, she was there.
No, I know it's wrong. I was just like, oh, that's a cool story, and I just never checked. But
that's why you never checked, because you were afraid a real journalist would come by and look it up.
Yeah. Damn, Patrick. What was the actual reason? Did they just say it was because it was big in 1905?
I think everything just got made a city in those days, especially here because nobody lived here.
Derek, that can't be the flag.
That's the flag for Chilliwack.
No.
I'm not even joking. That
can't be.
That is 100%.
That's a 4-H flag.
When I was like, oh, this is odd. Is there a Chilliwack in Ireland? In just outside of Belfast? But no, this is
when did they Oh, I'm thinking of the city of Chilliwack flag. Here, I'll put it in the copy link address. Because the one I was thinking of is this. Wow.
I always feel bad for people who have to listen to the audio version of these instead of joining us on.
Yeah, this is why you should go. Because on YouTube, if you're listening to this on sound, go to YouTube and fast forward to about 40 minutes in, and I will put a picture on the video so you can know.
Dale, why are you so bad at sharing links?
And you'll also get to see how handsome we are and how handsome Patrick is.
Okay, hold on. God damn it.
I can't believe
Google redirect notice. Thanks, Dale.
What are you doing?
Fucking boomers, man.
Yeah, there we go.
Dale, how old are you?
I am 41.
Pat, you want to talk about this geriatric millennials bullshit?
What is that? When did that start?
So Dale, you're born in 81? Are you born in 80 or
79?
79.
Get the fuck out.
He doesn't
Go away. Gen
David
X.
Clock is a
Oh, I'm the
millennial.
first year of millennials.
No,
No, you're
Dale,
not.
no.
No, go fuck
I'm
yourself.
me calling myself a millennial is a stretch, and I like that
Mm-mm.
this
Go fuck
article today
It
confirms.
was 7.
You're the last of the Gen Xers. Your job is to whine and complain about not getting opportunities.
Yeah,
Yeah, I could do that.
You guys invented that.
I would rather do that than
They
ruin
perfected it.
society like the millennials have.
No, we.
That's
no,
it.
Derek,
I'm turning
Derek,
on the
we perfected
millennials.
it. Us
You're
folks
not
on the other
hard
side of the
workers.
fence, we perfected
Eat too much avocados. Jerks.
it. Geriatric millennials. I hate it.
So
We're Oregon Trail people. We're the Oregon Trail.
the Oregon Trail
I
generation.
played Oregon
There was an
Trail
article.
too.
Dale,
Eh.
fuck off. You played Oregon Trail in college. Like, it's not the same. You and I are not the same.
You had to build your own computer to play.
Yeah.
Our computers showed up. Like we didn't have to build our computer.
You worked in a shed alongside Steve Jobs and whoever the other fucking guy was.
Steve
My
Wozniak.
computers, you had to start from DOS boot up.
That was mine too, but you still had to build.
Oh,
yours.
so we're the same generation?
No,
you
we're
say?
not. No, we're not. There's a
Anyways.
fence between us. I told you.
There was an article on Medium or something today, and it was about how the older millennials are like perfectly poised to
Like
blah
me
blah
and
blah leadership, whatever.
'Cause we have
And now that we
real
have this
shit.
like hybrid, we have this hybrid life, and like we grew up hybrid. We were like, oh, half our lives have been on the
We're not
internet,
shit.
half our lives have been like, oh, I have to interface with people in person. That's fucked up.
That is
Wow.
fucked up.
Our
And
parents were
so-
boomers. Our parents were boomers,
hmm
and so we got all kind of benefits of that. But also, we had a life before the internet,
Yeah.
and so we learned how hard it was on the streets.
we were still allowed to play when child molesters were just roaming the streets in vans and nobody was scared enough to keep us indoors.
Wow, is that what it was like in Salmon Arm?
Yeah, it's still like
Well, it
that.
was like everywhere, Patrick.
No, that was
There was no
that-
Amber Alerts because they
that
didn't have
was
the
an
internet.
enderby problem.
No, no child molesters drove to Ender because it was too far off the main highway.
What were we talking about? Oh, the fucking millennials. So anyway, this dumb shit fucking article talked about geriatric millennials was the term they used for people born between what 1980 and 85.
85, yeah.
Because we're the oldest
We
members
don't
of
have
this.
we don't have the same problems as the kids.
We're the oldest members of the most entitled generation.
How many
Lazy.
times are they just going to rewrite this article? Because, like as Tennille said, Zillennials with his X, that came out like 2 years ago.
Do you know what?
And they're
Well,
like-
okay, Derek, do you remember what they called us when we were growing up?
Generation Next.
Gen Y.
All right, because it was
Y-
after X.
Y becomes Y comes after X. It was really
Oh,
creative.
that's why it's Zillennials, right? I was wondering where Generation Z
Xennials.
came
Is
from.
millennials. I've always called it Xennials.
Xennials, Zennials. I think
Zennials.
either
I think-
either.
Like
It's horrible.
xylophone.
It's horrible.
Zennials.
Sorry, Tennille, but it's horrible.
Xerox. But yeah, then it's confusing because Zillennials is what they're calling Generation Z.
All
So
right.
you can't have Zillennials and Zillennials.
What are the aliens in Ron Hubbard's
Where'd the
tale
Ennials?
called? I feel like
Xenon or Xenu.
right?
Xenu is
Z-
the leader alien.
Right?
Xenu.
I feel like it's like
Xenu.
that. It's something to do
Yeah.
with that.
Xennials.
How many? Raise your hand if you learned about that because of South Park.
No, I knew about it before. I
knew about
learned
it
it
before,
from
too.
You're a Fucking Moron cartoon on YouTube like forever ago.
Oh. Wow.
Do you think millennials have more body thetans than Generation Xers? Because they have more SADs, and that's
Yeah,
what
depression
body
is
thetans
caused
are.
by body thetans.
Yeah, your bad thoughts. Instead of like Christianity, like a good religion, and they told us that all our bad thoughts were demons. Stupid Scientologists believe it's body thetans, which are just ghosts of aliens that got shot into a volcano. It's ridiculous.
Tennille call us old farts.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
Tennille is
are
like
old.
Only
I-
Dale's the old fart
I am the old fart.
because he's Gen X.
Dude,
Yeah.
I would try
He's
to
older
argue
than
that
Gen
I'm
X.
not an old fart, but every day I wake up and I make that old man noise when I get out of the bed and at every step I take for the
I'm
entire
pointing the
day.
wrong way. I just realized it's over here.
Yeah. It's
what,
okay.
on the Facebook.
For those at home who are just listening to this, Patrick on the Zoom meeting just
we're all
pointed
pointing
at
at each other, and you can't.
Well, I
We're
just
like
discovered because I went to the
the
Facebook and I
Brady's.
discovered I'm on the bottom. So I've got
Yeah. Oh yeah, and on the Facebook or in the Zoom meeting, I'm in the middle, and you guys, yeah.
Cool. This is
Hey.
riveting. Hey,
Is there more about this geriatric?
no, I just wanted
Millennial
to
stuff?
say that it was like I
dumb
woke
term.
up to Patrick calling me basically a fucking old millennial on Twitter, and my day was essentially downhill
and
from
Brandy,
there.
you and Brandy, and Brandy
Yeah.
tried to throw it back in my face. So I'm like, no, I'm including myself.
Yeah, you are.
Oh, Patrick,
Yeah,
are you
nothing.
younger than us?
Nothing.
No, Derek and I are the same age.
Oh, you
Are we?
young
Well, I mean, we're
whippersnappers.
both younger than you, Dale.
Yeah.
You're 81, right, Derek?
What's that?
Speaking of
You're
old
81,
and
right?
tired,
No, I'm 80. I'm older than you.
Oh,
I was born in
you're age.
1980. I'm 40.
Get
Okay,
outta
fuck. Jesus Christ.
speaking of old and tired, Chrissy Teigen got canceled again.
I know.
No.
Derek, you got to explain this to me because I don't. Because you were telling
Why
me
would
before
anybody
we potted,
cancel Chrissy?
you're like,
I don't
Chrissy
like-
Teigen got canceled again. And I'm like, again?
Okay, so she got canceled, or she
Like
canceled
6
herself
times.
a while
She
ago.
canceled herself.
Yeah, she did
She's
the
had enough
self
of Twitter.
cancel and just like left Twitter,
Derek
which
doesn't
is
know anything about that.
the smartest thing.
Zing.
It was like right around the same time, and someone on Twitter posted a poll, and they were basically like, "Who comes back first, Derek or Chrissy Teigen?"
Who did come back first?
I did, but like by like a week.
Chrissy
I was
Teigen
only a
held
week
out
ahead of her,
that
and then
long?
Chrissy Teigen came back. Yeah, she came back.
Wait, did she
it was-
cancel herself because of Bean Dad as well?
Weird, right? No. But she fucking canceled herself, and then she was like, she was free. And I look at her and I'm like, Chrissy, why would you do this? But then I'm like, I was free too. 3 months. If you quit smoking for 3 months, you're in the clear. If you quit Twitter for 3 months, you're also in the clear. And I went back to it, and Chrissy went back to it. And now she's canceled again because a lot of people found a lot of really heinous shits she said about people, specifically. Oh my God, what was that? She was that like 25-year-old girl who married that like 50-year-old millionaire guy,
Gross.
or the 50-year-old actor. She was like a weird. It was like this really weird story. She was like a really young girl marrying like a C-list actor.
This sounds like a
and
Dale
everyone was
story,
like, this is
Derek.
bizarre. I can't remember her name. Don't make me Google. I'll Google it.
You better. Courtney Stodden. Tennille's got our back.
Courtney, thank you so much, Tennille.
I don't even know what this is.
So
I don't
Courtney
either.
Stodden was a American media personality, model, singer, songwriter. But before any of that, she was 16. Then 16-year-old
Ew.
Stodden came to international attention when she married 51-year-old actor Doug Hutchinson.
I hope he went to
2011.
jail
He,
for statutory rape
I do not believe he did. He was
and taking a child bride.
Dale. He was on Lost, and
Was he Locke?
no.
Who was he on Lost?
I can't
Was he the
remember. No, he was
bad
like
guy?
a bit. He was like a bit guy on like a couple of seasons. But
Oh,
anyway,
was he one of the others? The creepy one with the like cartoony looking face?
he wasn't
Jeremiah
like
or
the main
something?
other. He might have been another. Anyway, I'll research it after. But she said basically, Courtney Stodden. Hold on, now I got to Google it.
If she said this is disgusting and this guy should be in jail, then I'm with her. But if the worst thing she could have said about this was that nothing is wrong with a 16-year-old marrying a 51-year-old and I support it. That would be the worst thing you could say.
Oh,
about
in March of last year, Stodden, who identifies as non-binary, said they felt Hutchinson had groomed and absolutely taken advantage of them, even as outside observers cast them as the villain.
Yeah, that's
one
why
repeat
we don't
offender,
let
according to
16-year-olds get
Stodden,
married.
Was
Because
Chrissy
they don't.
Teigen. Yeah, they have no fucking idea. Well, especially get married to a 51-year-old.
Yeah.
Teigen reportedly encouraged Courtney Stodden to kill themselves.
What?
What?
That doesn't sound
Yep.
like the Chrissy Teigen we know and love.
No, but this was like Chrissy Teigen. Like this was like fucking a decade ago. This was before she was like social media personality. Chrissy
was
Teigen.
this like you should just kill yourself, like as a joke, because that was a pretty big joke back then. Like we always used to say on the internet, we used to be like, die in a fire. Didn't mean we really wanted people to die in a fire. That
yeah,
was
like I
just the
think it was
trendy
like
thing to
a
say.
rebuttal in an argument or something. It was like go kill yourself, or like,
Oh, dude, I was at this pool party once. The first time I ever heard kill yourself as a dig, I was at the pool party, and me and this guy I'd never met. He was like a super punk rocker, and we're standing by the snack table, and we're just like eating chips or whatever. And there's like we had chicken skewers, and there's one chicken skewer left, and he goes, "Oh, there's only one chicken skewer," and he looks at me. He's like, "You should eat that and then kill yourself." It was the funniest thing ever, because I'd never heard that before, and I didn't know it was a joke. And I was like, wait, what's this guy? Holy shit. And then I just like, and then he laughed, and then I laughed forever. And it was pretty funny.
Anyway, so Chrissy Teigen said this to Courtney Stodden, and then a bunch of other people went and dug up decades old tweets from Chrissy Teigen. And there were a couple more. There was one where she said, basically, like, what did it say? Teigen reportedly said that Lindsay Lohan adds a few more slits to her wrists when she sees Emma Stone.
That's not hilarious at all.
And what was the other one? Oh, Farrah Abraham, the teen mom. Chrissy Teigen had referred to her as whore. And these were all like a decade ago. So, like, I understand that she's probably like grown and evolved as a person.
So what you're telling
like,
me is Chrissy
time?
Teigen used to tell good jokes, and now she just tells lame, shitty jokes that won't get her in trouble.
I mean,
because look,
she used to have an edge to her.
Yeah.
We'll say that.
Saying Lindsay Lohan used to slit her wrist every time she saw it. Who would she say? Emma Stone?
Emma Stone, yeah.
Is a very blue joke, but it at the time everybody probably laughed their fucking dicks off because that's hilarious. I mean, you can't say it's hilarious now because we pretend that people don't get sad when they see the younger, more successful version of themselves, because Emma Stone basically was a Lindsay Lohan that didn't have drug binges and lose her fucking mind. She was just like the cute redhead, and she basically took all the roles away from crazy old Lindsay Lohan. So it's like that joke to me, that joke's not that bad. It's just a 10-year-old joke when we all used to make good jokes. Like, have you guys watched a movie from pre-2010 lately? Like a comedy?
There's a lot of stuff that goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there's also a lot of very funny jokes that they can't tell anymore. like watch Step Brothers. It's like they can't even make Step Brothers anymore.
That's not very PC.
Watch Wedding Crashers.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of Hey, you know who should watch Wedding Crashers? That fucking pipeline worker from Kansas City, because there's so many tits in it.
Fuck.
Good segue there.
No, there's the like. So do you think there's this like wokeness or curve or PC curve where like the length of time where we look back and say, whoa, we were not very good back then, like it's getting shorter and shorter all the time, right? Like in the 90s, you look back at the 70s and you were like, yeah, and now it's like we look back 3 years ago and we're like, whoa, fuck, I think that was not good.
I don't know. To me, the date is 2015, because that's like where you could put your finger on the point when hyper wokeness took over. Like it took like a couple years to catch up, but like I think 2015 is a turning point. So you see anything before that date and you watch it, you're like, whoa, we can't say that anymore. And then it's like, yeah. But I don't think it's getting, like, it might have been getting shorter, like you're saying, but I think it's going to start expanding now. Like, cause I'm pretty sure we're going to start like the anti-woke flashback, because in the 80s, or not the 80s, in the 90s, we had like feminism and stuff. And there was like that whole Riot Girl movement with music and stuff. And then it kind of got super compressed and we went like hyper feminist, like with La Tigre and stuff. And we're super like aware of all their stuff. And then in the 2000s came and it just kind of sprung back the other way. till like frat parties and frat boy style and stuff got
You're
trendy
specifically
again.
talking about a genre of music. Like, I don't remember seeing like feminism everywhere in the 90s outside of
Oh,
like
you don't?
this very niche music scene. Like, yeah, no, I don't remember the 90s. Like, and then maybe it could be a byproduct of like growing up in Salmon Arm, but I don't remember the 90s being
well,
like.
I grew up in Enderby, so I should have saw it even less. But no, I was just using music as kind of the visual high watermark of it, because that was like what you saw. It was the like, it's the most recognizable. Like Riot Girl became its own genre of music, but you had it in like movies and stuff where women were starting to like get bigger acting roles and stuff. And I think that was when they stopped. Or wait, was that? Remember when they stopped calling them actresses and they called them female actors?
Or just actors.
Yeah, and then they called them actors for a bit.
Oh,
but I think that was in the 2000s.
I'm trying to find a reference here. I can't remember who made the reference. A guy named Chuck Klosterman, who's a really interesting cultural writer. And he was on the Rewatchables, which is the Bill Simmons podcast, mostly Bill Simmons podcast, that talks about like movies from when we were younger, like movies that are worth watching again, that are fun, that fun scenes, things like that, like long wide variety. And they were talking about The Doors, like the movie The Doors, the Oliver Stone movie The Doors.
Yeah.
They were talking about our perception of time and how it shifted, because like I think it was like 1990 or whatever it was that Oliver Stone made The Doors. The Doors in late 60s, 1970, whatever, whenever Jim Morrison killed himself. And the sort of, I mean, that's only 20 years, right? And yet it felt like a whole other dimension compared to where life was in the early 90s. And now, in many ways, I mean, obviously they didn't have we didn't have the internet in the early 90s, but there's a lot of things about the early 90s that still feel very familiar now, even though it's 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I'm going to say that might be a generational thing, though. Like, you look, I doubt like an 18-year-old today would watch a movie about the 90s and be like, this is for me, like, this still holds up. They would be like, what the fuck? People live like this? Whereas like, when we saw The Doors.
Well, but I think the point is that for us, for our like cohort, and for people a bit older and a bit younger, because I think your point's right. Like for someone, like absolutely, like a young person now would look exactly at like our entire experience and be like, you didn't have like you had to actually put like a thing into a machine to make the music work. Like you had to own stuff.
Yeah.
But inherently, like there is a lot of things, certainly for our age bracket, and actually quite far back, most millennials, life now doesn't feel all that different to how things were, when we were in the 90s. But you look at when we were in the 90s, looking back at the 70s, and things just seemed like a whole like The Wedding Singer is set in like 1985, right? It's 1997. But like, I remember when that movie came out, and you're like, whoa, that's like a whole other time frame. And now if you made a movie about, like, think about it, if you made a movie now that was as old as that, you're talking about 2011. And we're talking about the, like,
Jesus Christ. Yeah, that does not seem.
And that's the point. And basically his point is, because what's happened is essentially the internet has sort of compressed everything.
Yeah.
And because we don't like, there was a great article 8 years ago called The Age of Forget, or The End of Forgetting. And it was all about basically how do you deal with people who die and have Facebook accounts? Like, what do you do? And like Facebook had to actually come, like, this is when we still didn't all hate Facebook, but they actually had to think about it. And they, there is actually apparently a setting. You can basically turn it into a memorial page. And like, it just exists, or you can just leave it and it just goes on forever. But also that like our photos, I mean, it was something that certainly our age group learned, that like you can upload those photos and then you'll lose control of them. Like they just can go anywhere.
Yeah.
Like possibly could, so whereas, kids are a lot more, I think kids are, they're a lot more conscious. They know that once they post, it's gone. So they're a lot more conscious about how they post it. And, obviously there are a lot of bad stories about kids who weren't careful, but but it's all kind of tied into that about just sort of how like our perception of reality is just completely shifted from back then. And so to sort of your point, like the jokes, like that's the thing, like that is one of the things to me that still stands out, because I think you're right, Dale. Like there's a lot of things you're like, ooh, we can't make those jokes anymore.
Yeah.
They're still pretty funny. But
yeah. One thing I was going to say was one of the reasons why that might still seem so like yesterday is because like Facebook's been around for like 12 years now. So it's like you still have pictures that'll show up in your feed or whatever. And like in the 70s, it was a very rare occasion that you took pictures unless you were like a photo geek. And like you can like you go back to your like family albums and you look at pictures and they're all old and like yellowed a bit and stuff. But now it's like you go on your like own Facebook profile and you could go look at pictures of you from 12 years ago, or like you can dig up digital pictures from like 20 years ago or whatever.
Well, I think that's as geriatric millennials, I think we've witnessed this transition through all these different mediums, like analog to digital. But for the past I don't even know how long I've been doing digital photos. Dale, you're a photo guy. You might know.
I started doing digital photos 2004 because the first ones I started.
So and it's just been like digital for the past 20 years. And like the quality has gotten progressively better, but like the actual mechanics and storage and how we look at them and what we do with them hasn't changed all that much.
Mm-hmm. Plus, it's still like since storage has gotten so good that you could store so much photos, like we all have I have every photo I've ever taken digitally still somewhere, Jesus. Like either on like an external hard drive.
You a digital hoarder?
Oh yeah, very. Like for photos, especially like I have them all, and like on my phone. When it fills up with pictures, I'll just dump it onto my computer in like a folder. Like I'm never going to look at these pictures again, but I have them all. And it's like, could you imagine if you were like in the 70s, if you were our age in say the 90s, so 20 years ago, you'd be like your 20s in the 70s. If you had as many pictures of you in the 70s as you did now, then it wouldn't seem like a different world.
Here's one. Time compressing. Celebrities dating each other again.
Oh, yeah.
We got to keep you on hand just to do segues for us.
Bennifer. I'm as stunned as everyone else. I was like, what?
That was the start of the name combining, wasn't it?
Was Bennifer the first?
Yeah.
Portmanteaus. Yeah.
Otherwise, Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston would have been Bennifer.
Dale, I was just going to stop for a second. Did you know that Derek's a writer?
Is he?
Well, he just said portmanteau. He's an educated man.
Did you know that? Yeah. I know words.
No, I know.
Wait, what?
I know the word for when you combine two other words into one word.
Derek knows the power of nouns.
Okay.
Noun power, baby.
Are you guys gonna like fucking writer me to death right now?
We're gonna read words to each other. Hey,
wait, what was it? A portmanteau?
Portmanteau.
Yes, no, it's a or as Dale pronounces it, a portmanteau.
Portmanteau. Portfolio. Whatever.
This fucking wasn't Ben Affleck just in the news like 2 weeks ago for like
I've lost track
sliding into some girls' DMs on some dating app that's exclusively for like rich or famous people.
Well, she didn't think it was actually him.
I'm not surprised. There is such a thing. There's a dating app that's just
100. Yeah, I didn't even know this app existed, and they're like, super
no, you're not a rich person, Derek. Also,
and you have
married.
Patrick, don't blow up my spot on either of those things. If any women are watching this and they are rich influencers, I am single, and I'm also a rich influencer. Thank you. My wife's gonna come kick my ass.
Firefest. He's planning a concert series called Firefest.
It's gonna be great.
I can't give Ben Affleck shit about sliding into a girl's, because what happened was he was on this dating site and then he swiped her and they matched, And then she was like, oh, that's not the real Ben Affleck. And then unmatched him. And then he was like, oh, wait, I am the real Ben Affleck. So he found her Instagram account and he sent her a message. He was like, hey, why'd you unmatch me? I'm the real Ben
it's
Affleck.
Actually me. I'm actually Ben Affleck.
And then she, like a terrible person who doesn't think of the needs and wants of the perfect being known as Ben Affleck, just fucking screenshot it and put him on blast. And it's it's almost endearing.
She did it being funny, being like, oh, this is like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I fucked this up because Ben Affleck was hitting on me and I didn't believe it was him. And then he sent me this video to prove it was him. And then it's like, everyone just like assumes the worst of people now. So everyone was like, oh, like Ben Affleck is so fucking creepy that he like, this is awful toxic male behavior, like berating a woman and I like women do put up with a lot of this shit. So I understand why some of them would view it through that lens, but it was just like, it was Ben Affleck just being like, hi, I'm Ben Affleck. Why did you unmatch with me? And her being like, I'm a moron because I passed up a chance with Ben Affleck. And you did, because now he's back together with Angelina Jolie or who the fuck ever.
No, not Angelina Jolie.
Oh, I know. My other second favorite part of this is, Patrick, did you see, you're a sports guy, did you see A-Rod's fucking, like, I don't know if they were Instagram stories or Instagram posts or something, but they were just like, they were like, it's hard not to feel heartbroken for the guy. He was posting them a while ago and they were just like J-Lo songs. I mean, it's easy to not feel heartbroken for the guy because like, fuck A-Rod, but it was like, he was doing the very sad divorce thing.
Feeling about A-Rod. I'm actually impressed with him as sort of a trying to be positive, forward-thinking man, moneyed man. But I also know he's a baseball player. Baseball players are assholes. I love baseball, but baseball players are assholes.
You're not wrong.
He was an inept steroid user. I don't have an issue with guys using steroids. The game can
just do it smartly.
But
please.
Like he was so bad at it. It was embarrassing. And then he tried to cover it up.
Yeah.
And then I mean, well, no, he cheated on his ex-wife with J-Lo.
Yeah.
It was atrocious.
I mean, he probably cheated on J-Lo with.
Anyway, so that's kind of Anyway, carry on.
I heard.
No, I didn't see his.
It was very like despondent, like divorced dad kind of like.
If it's a fleet, I definitely didn't see it because I don't click on those things.
I don't. Yeah.
I heard on a podcast. It
those
might
even
have been
still exist.
Spitting Chicklets, but I'm not sure. But they're saying that Ben Affleck hooked up with J-Lo because he's such a Boston Red Sox fan that he wanted to get back at A-Rod by hooking back up with J-Lo. Does that track?
That's a stretch.
Well, I'm glad someone else said it, not me. Because my conspiracy theories are always right from the one time that it came true from last podcast. I don't endorse
that one at all.
Yes.
Okay, I just posted the tweet on the Facebook comments, but it's so fucking sad. Like he posted this to his Instagram story, and it's just it's rough. Anyways, there was that. And then what else? Oh, the other thing was and this isn't like a 90s blast from the past, but there was John Mulaney checks out of rehab, breaks up with his wife the next day,
starts dating Olivia Munn,
and then the day after that starts dating, announces that he's dating Olivia Munn,
who he met at church apparently.
Guys, Olivia Munn is too hot to not understand.
I fucking love John Mulaney, but I don't understand. Dude. I mean, I'm not privy to the guy's fucking relationship.
Okay. All I have to say is this. Watch Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee with Jerry Seinfeld, the John Mulaney episode, because there's an episode where John Mulaney is like out with Jerry Seinfeld and they go to like a carpet store. And then John's like, oh, I really like this carpet. And Seinfeld's like, well, why don't you just buy it? And he's like, my wife would never let me have it. And Seinfeld's like, what? Just buy it. Like, it's your house too. Just put it in. So it's like this weird, super awkward thing where Seinfeld buys this carpet for me. He's like, you know what? I'm going to buy it for you. And then she can't say no because you're just going to show up with it. And then he goes and he brings it and he like rolls it out in the house. And then she's like, I don't like it. We can't have this. And she like talks him out of having it. And then an episode ends with Seinfeld like taking the carpet out of the house. And he's like, I bought the carpet. I'm going to keep the carpet. Somebody's got to have the carpet. And then he gives it to one of the staff, like the support staff on the show. And at that moment, I was like, that marriage ain't going to last. Like,
And
she
you
can't
were
just
right.
give him the carpet, be like, yo, Seinfeld bought you this carpet. We can have this carpet. She was like, no, get it out of here. I don't like it. It's like, if Seinfeld bought
Was it like
me-
a hideous, like, did
No,
Mulaney go over the top and just get like an absurd carpet just to like test
no, dude, have
the
you
limits
met
of his wife?
Mulaney? It was like
No,
neutral.
No.
It was like,
I have
it-
not
well, I
ever
mean,
met
not have you met him, but
John
have you
Mulaney,
seen him?
famous
what he's-
comedian.
Like, it was
personally.
like neutral blues and grays.
yeah,
It would
doesn't
fit
seem-
with
He
anything.
doesn't seem like an over the top guy.
It was like it was like a one of those carpets that would fit in with anything.
Do you think looking forward into the year 2026, John
Mhm.
Mulaney and Olivia Munn are now married, living in a home together? Does
Oh my
Olivia Munn
God.
let John Mulaney keep that carpet?
Yes.
Use their name
Discuss.
correctly, Jolivia.
What?
Use their name correctly, Jolivia.
Olivia? I thought I went with Mulaney.
All I got to say is, do you think after this, Mulaney will
Olivia.
make another stand-up special and not that weird stand-up for kids thing he made?
Yeah, he's already even that was perfect. Like I love the guy. Everything he does is so good.
Did you
Except,
see Hello on Broadway? Hello from Broadway?
I didn't like that.
No,
I didn't
it was,
like
it
Oh
was
Hello.
it was still funny, but it was awkward. But John Mulaney's 2 stand-up specials on Netflix are like perfect.
Perfection.
They are so funny. Have you seen them, Patrick?
Maybe so.
Do you
I'm
like
tired.
stand-up comedy?
I do, but I'm tired. I don't
Well,
have
don't
time.
watch them right now.
I saw
No,
Kid
I'm just
Gorgeous.
saying, I'm tired.
Oh wait, no. Which one did I see? I saw
Yeah.
him live in Vancouver.
What?
The newest special he did on Netflix. I saw him when he was performing that show in Vancouver as part of Comedy Fest. It was so fucking good.
Imagine
does he have-
going out.
3 or 2? Because there's the Comeback Kid, and then Kid Gorgeous from Radio City Music Hall or something.
Yeah, Kid Gorgeous was the tour I saw him on, and I saw him do it in
Oh.
Vancouver.
Yeah.
But he's great. I don't know what this means for his good boy image or his comedy, but hopefully.
I mean,
know?
if is he out of rehab, or is he like, did he
Yeah,
leave
he's-
because he couldn't like be fixed?
No, he's checked out. He's as far as I know, he's sober. Who the fuck knows?
Hey,
Is
let's
Olivia
get
Munn
real
sober?
here,
Let me
Derek.
Google something.
Derek, let's get real here. When you heard that John Mulaney had fallen off the wagon, did you lose respect for him being a sober guy yourself?
No, not at all.
Okay.
I don't like. You can't lose respect. Like fuck people who struggle with addiction. Like fuck yeah, they're gonna relapse. That's just like that's how addiction works. And if you're ever if you ever have a moment of weakness, relapse is a really easy thing. Like I'm always like, it makes me sad to hear about it, but you can't like, you're not disappointed in addicts because they fell victim to their addiction. They're just, you want to support and encourage them to get back at it if that ever happens.
I do got to say though, he didn't spiral out of control, so I'm happy for that.
No, he
Because
immediately like,
I like the guy and I like the comedy that he produces. So
yeah, and we've seen so many instances over the past, especially over the past year with like all the fentanyl shit going on. Like people relapse and they like relapse quietly, and then all of a sudden they're like dead of an overdose because nobody even knew what was going on by the
Like,
time they figured it out.
Philip Seymour Hoffman,
Yeah,
he
Philip Seymour-
relapsed and then he was just like dead, and you're like,
Dead.
what?
Yeah,
And then you're like, yeah, he had like 2 pounds of heroin or something ridiculous, and you're like, holy fuck.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's fucked. Like I don't. So,
Yeah.
hopefully Olivia Munn keeps him on the straight and narrow, though.
If Olivia Munn can't make you happy, no woman will. Besides my girlfriend, who I love very
I
much.
was about to ask. But, hi,
Who is more attractive than Olivia Munn?
What do you say?
All right. We're pushing an hour and a half here. Patrick, is there anything that personally made you mad that you would like to discuss on the podcast with us this wonderful Friday evening?
No, I've had a really nice time. It's been fun. I got outraged in jest and fun. And is there anything outraging you this week?
Was it my Twitter pun, the Estrangers?
Oh, that was outrageous.
The New York Estrangers.
I mean, it wasn't your finest work, Dale. We'll just say
I thought it was.
Ridiculous.
Do you have time for one more question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Now that the GM, the head coach, the hockey president have all left the New York Rangers, does D'Angelo come back?
Oh yeah, you wanted to ask this. That's right. God,
Yeah.
I hope not.
Because do you feel
Fuck
like
that
the
guy.
owner, like fuck him or whatever, but the owner, I feel like he's got to see that looking at this and be like, why is this player?
Dolan's crazy.
It's also his teammates, right? Like he was the last straw.
Here, I'll give you guys a James Dolan nugget. So, a story I heard about the Knicks, who he also owns. At some point I don't know, this is a few years ago. This team was so dysfunctional that the players weren't actually flying from game to game on the team playing together. The game would be over and essentially, okay, who we play next? Where? When? Okay, I'll see you there. And then they just fuck off.
Wow.
They do whatever they wanted.
Jesus.
They had a this is when Phil Jackson was still the president. I assume he's not the president anymore. Phil, of course, who was this, previously brilliant basketball mind from days gone by, and Phil, they would land these reports. The Knicks had this huge analytics department, all this research and stuff, and they put these reports on Phil's desk. And it wasn't that Phil didn't respect what they're doing. Phil just didn't know what to do with them because Phil was from a different era, and he'd pick him up and put him down and lean back in his chair and just wanted to talk about Zen and the triangle offense. So yeah, the Knicks were a mess. And I mean, I don't know. I mean, people have been kind of shouting, "Hey, let's get Geoff Courtnall in here." Geoff Courtnall did help build the Bruins before Chiarelli got hired, and did some interesting things for the Rangers, but wasn't perfect. Like there was a lot of misfires there. And him and John Davidson didn't want to go crazy. The owner wanted them to go a bit crazy, it sounds like. And also he stood up against the league, and I think they didn't want to stand up against the league because that's how this league works. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's a mess. I don't know. No, I mean, no.
So who do you think put that statement out from the New York Rangers? Like, was that something?
Sure it was the owner.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the owner. Because the GM and the coach were like, "Yeah, we didn't do that," or not.
Yeah,
the GM and the
all
president.
Kinds of weird shit going around, but basically, it sounds like it wasn't us. But it was like, oh, so the owner has control.
Yeah, and then
sounds kind of familiar.
Yeah.
Yeah, heard that before.
Anyway, does D'Angelo go back? Well, I mean, yeah, maybe.
Because is his contract up this year? Like, is this last?
Yeah, I think what it was there was the Habs supposedly were interested in signing him, and they basically had offered. I think the Rangers basically said, "Listen, Montreal will make up what you're missing if you agree to a buyout or a mutual termination, because there's clauses about that. Montreal could basically pay you what you won't be getting this year." And I think he sat down and did the money and said, "Well, no, if you buy me out in the summer, I get this much money.
Yeah,
so just buy me out in the summer." So I think the Rangers, they're going to buy him out in the summer, and then
see what happens. I think he'll play again. Like, he's too talented. Hopefully, he's learned to just like.
Oh yeah, I mean, if Sean Avery can, bounce around, you know what I mean? Like Sean Avery didn't have odious politics. He's just crazy. Mm-hmm. But. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a lot of guys with awful politics in this league and they do fine. He just talks about them in public. So
yeah, he doesn't. He's not smart enough or old enough to just keep his fucking mouth shut
or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, there you go. That's my last one. I'm glad we didn't talk about. I mean, I love the Oakland Athletics, and I think it'd be hilarious if they came here. But I'm glad
They're not coming. They're not coming here.
It's not happening. There's nowhere to build a stadium.
It'll never happen.
No one wants. You need someone to own the team. You know, shut up about BC Place. Left field. If you actually build a stadium, the UBC baseball guys were in there. They laid out a field. It was 275 feet to left field. The Major League Baseball's never going for a fucking. Fuck off. TikTok.
I was more like, would they keep the Athletics name or would they name them something else?
It doesn't matter. The team's never coming here.
Yeah, I'd say send them to Nashville. I'm surprised Nashville doesn't have a team.
I know. They'll go to Vegas. I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah, that seems to be the hot property for all the sports teams.
People
these
willing
days
to spend money there. You know, blah, 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 blah. I mean, Oakland. I mean, I hope it works out. I love. I mean, I'm an Oakland A's fan. That's always been my thing, and I think it's it's kind of a funny curiosity of history that Oakland still had teams, and there's only one left. But
yeah.
Well, that's going to be. They keep losing their teams to to Vegas, right? So.
I'm glad. No, I would not make a TikTok resume because I don't do TikTok, even though I find some of them funny. Australian flights to nowhere are nothing new.
It was just that it's. I like how
every
flight
like, in Australia is a flight to nowhere,
and that's the rest of the list. So there we go.
Yeah, Patrick was just going through the list of topics I had, and the Australian flight to nowhere was. I just want to say. The Australian flight to nowhere was specifically to go fly above the clouds and look at the supermoon at night, and it sold out.
Yeah, but they've had Australian flights where they just flew down to Antarctica to see it, and they flew back.
Yeah,
I know. It's just
do a flyover.
Hey, look,
it was more of like a would you guys
Check it out.
would you guys pay $500 to go look at a supermoon on a flight and then come back?
No,
maybe.
No.
I like experiences.
Come on, Derek.
It's also a lunar eclipse.
$500, you get a better experience.
It's a lunar eclipse.
Could
supermoon.
I? Yeah. For $500, Patrick, what kind of experience am I going to get from that? Yeah, that's true. Hey, Pat, if people want to learn more about you or your craft,
do they really though?
I don't know. Just on the off chance they do, where can they learn more about you?
Well, at Rising Action on Twitter, which is mostly sports. Mostly people getting upset about sports.
A lot of that lately.
Yeah.
Yikes, Vancouver.
And I have an Instagram that sometimes covers the Canucks, but there's nothing going on. So at Patty J on the road, if things are back on track.
Are you going to be doing anything special for your hockey coverage for the playoffs, or no?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Have they all?
I've had enough
to have you like travel anywhere to see the games?
No, we haven't traveled. We sent someone to the bubble last year in Edmonton.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we haven't traveled. We didn't. Nobody traveled. Nobody from work traveled this season. Almost nobody traveled from anywhere. Like the play like John and John are calling the games from Rogers Arena, right? Like Dan Murphy didn't travel. Like none of the TV guys because they weren't allowed on the plane. Like radio and TV guys usually fly on the plane. Like they don't interact with players, but they can sit at the front of the plane. But those guys, none of those guys flew. I think some of the Sportsnet, like Chris Cuthbert, flew a little bit. I know he flew around a little bit. Harnarayan Singh, who's based in Calgary, I know certainly drove up to Edmonton to call games for Sportsnet. I think he drove to Winnipeg to call games too.
Wow,
dedication!
Which is a really long drive.
That's a long ass drive.
Yeah.
But yeah, almost nobody traveled. There were a couple. Renaud Lavoie apparently traveled, I think, at least for the first Habs series here. Somebody said they saw him, but I didn't see him. So
okay.
Yeah. Anyway, next year. But yeah,
next year. Get those rolling.
Provinsports.com, folks. That's where the good stuff is.
Cool. I don't write anything anywhere, but you can find me on Twitter at Herder.
You can find me on the Twitter machine at SuperDalebot.
I'm going to delete my account before I get Chrissy Teigen, but while it's there, go check it out. You can find us on the internet at Outrage Fact Pod, wherever you are on
all
media.
The social medias is Outrage Fact Pod. OutrageFactory.com for the episode feed on audio. Go to YouTube, search Outrage Factory. We have a channel for all the videos. I think we started the videos at episode 115.
If you like the podcast, please rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends. And until next week,
stay angry. Do you like all my Oilers stuff?
Is it playoff gear?
Yeah.
Congratulations. I picked you guys. I picked you guys to what did I do? I picked you guys to go to the semifinals.
I picked you guys to advance to the second round.
Yeah.
No, I picked you guys to make the second round and beat the Leafs and go to the third round.
Did you know the Leafs are the Vegas favorites to win the Stanley Cup?
Well, they have an easy path, but I don't know. I don't know. I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson. I was a Dale.
I think whoever wins the North wins the Cup, because everybody's saying, "Oh, they scored so much in the North. They're playing bad hockey up there, but they're gonna get fucking."
No, but the scoring rate thing isn't true.
Uh-huh.
This isn't the highest scoring division in the NHL. I don't remember who it is, but they're not. It's actually not true. And some of the top goalies in the league are in this division.
Yeah.
Oh, that negates the point I was going to make while we talk Connor McDavid. But let's save it for the pod, fellas. Patrick, how you doing?
Don't waste your bullshit on me.
I won't. I won't.
Wait, can this go on the podcast?
Yeah.
I haven't started yet, but I'm just saying, if this is like super good and interesting, do you want to like?
I think it's funny. I think
pump your own tires on the podcast.
Yeah, I absolutely want to pump my own tires.
Okay, then I'm going to start.
Okay,
this should be like the fun little opening, nonsense.
Yeah.